Hello there. How are you doing? Hope you're good. How are you doing? For me, I'm fine. Welcome to another episode on the Diptinker Diary Podcast. I mean your one and only Rhema. So I was going through one of my diary that I wrote quite a long time now. Yes, that is 2015, 2024. That is 9 years. Wow, that's quite a long time. And I won't tell you if I was in secondary school or not. I know you want to be a gist. But I wrote it and I was writing down plans with timelines when I want to get them. And there were a lot of things there, but I'll tell you 3 things. I wrote that career-wise, like by a certain year, I should be a medical doctor. Saying it nice, making me to laugh. Or the day I read it, I was like, wow, I actually said this. Okay, so, and I also put it that by another year or while I'm a student, I should learn fashion designing with medicine. But actually, eventually, I learned fashion designing, so I took that one like good. Okay, I wrote another that by a certain year I should be married. And when I got to that year, like before I read that diary, when I got to that year that I wrote I should be married, you have told me like I end up at my job, like married by this age. I have a long things ahead of me. I have this, I have plans, I have visions. But the day I read the diary, I was like, wow, like you know what moments you're like, wow, you are surprised at yourself. Oh, there was a version of me that wanted to get married at this age. And I'm like, so honestly, it's good to journal, right? Because when you just read some things, you journal down, sometimes you be like, like the ones that make so much sense, you be like, so there's a version of me that was this wise. Like when you read some that maybe does not make sense, but most of them usually make sense too. But if you read someone that the one that is not making sense, you be like, oh my god. So there's a time you should think like this. It's perseverance. You'll be feeling like you're old or something like that. So that brings me to talking about God's plan versus your plans. And this is something that is important because I don't know if it's little or so big, but as it is, these things called plans and what you want for our life, you'll be surprised to hear, or some people may even be surprised to hear that it has made some people to leave the Christian faith, that makes some people to stop trusting God, because why? The expectations that they put for their lives, they did not get it, and they were trusting God that they must get this expectation, and they did not get that expectation, and made them to start questioning, are you sure there is God, or are you sure he's faithful? Like they began to question God because of those plans did not come to actualization. Now, and there is this popular saying, man proposes, God disposes. Even from that saying, it already looks like every time you plan, God, it seems like God is on one end, like you're on this end planning, and God is here just saying, plan, oh, let me come and scatter it. Just plan, let me come and scatter it. Because when we say man proposes, God disposes. Yes, there's an aspect of it that is also true. Man proposes, meaning man will bring it up, man will say it, but God knows has the final say. God knows what is right for you and the rest of that. But I just want to say that God is not on one end waiting for you to make plans for you to come and scatter, for him to come and scatter. God is not a scatterer, please. God is not on one end waiting for you to arrange your life and he'll just come and dash them. God does not dash hope. God gives hope, right? So now, Jeremiah 29 verse 11, God saying, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, they are thoughts of good, not of evil, to give you an expected end. And I know that in our minds, when we talk about an expected end, the things that come to our mind is like, wealth, perfect health, perfect grades, a perfect career, a perfect business strategy that boom, we are skyrocketed, we are up there. You see, a perfect home where we come home and there's no sort of trouble. That is the expectation that comes to our mind. And if we judge with these expectations, then we'll say that the unbelievers are getting more of God's expectations than the believers, you see, and they don't know God. And you know God. And it's like those that don't know God are getting God's expectation, and you that know God, you're not getting God's expectation. That is to show that if this is our definition of the expected end that God was referring to, it means that it is flawed. Did we get to that part? It means that it is actually flawed. This now, making expectations for your life, making plans for your life is not bad. In fact, it is very good. Build expectations for yourself. If you don't have, go back, think, ruminate, and build expectations for your life. Write down plans for your life. Even Habakkuk was saying, make it upon tables, that he that reads may run, right? We have something to run with. When I read them my diary, the ones that I've not done, that I can still do, right? It makes me like, okay, there's still something I'm working on. And the ones that have changed, I include them, okay, this one has changed, this one has changed. But there's something that you have a sense of something that is waking you up from your bed every day. Because if there's no expectation, there will be no push. So expectations are like driving forces that drives you to stand up from your bed that cold morning. Expectations. So if you have to be in the market because you have a goods to sell, if the weather is good, you immediately know that this your blanket self will sell because these people need it. It will push you to stand up and say, go to the market. As a student, you have to graduate as a medical doctor, and there are postings, courses that you have to, pass to get there. Even when you are tired, you have to push yourself, right, to go for those postings, to go for those classes, to pass those exams, because there's an expected end. So expectations are driving forces. Build an expectation for your life. Build an expectation for your life. Make plans, put timelines, and follow it up. Yes, but now these are plans, right? And concerning our plans, I will say that inherently everybody loves, God created us in his image, and he said when he looked at everything he created, he said it is good. Meaning, because of that, everybody wants good things for themselves. Yes, nobody wake up and start thinking evil. Oh, maybe I should just die today. Maybe I should just I should not have property. Nobody wakes up and make bad plans for themselves. So you see, it is inherent for us to have great plans for us. But where does God's plan come in? Now, God's plan comes in that he knows us better than we do ourselves. Just like he was telling Jeremiah, at that beginning part, Jeremiah was just saying a lot of things that he knows about himself. And if you can recall from the last episode that I did here on Through Whose Lenses. So you see, Jeremiah was saying a lot of things. I'm this, I cannot look, I cannot do that, I'm not good. And God said, I know you when you were created, I know you. So now, where does God's plan come in? Now, God's plan come in that he knows the right and perfect timing for you. Yes, he knows who you have to be, what you have to do to get to the expected end. And know that this expected end is not your own expected end. Yes, you are the one getting to the end, but it's God's expected end. So meaning, when I tell you do this, do that, do this, it's because I want you to get to this place. Maybe you're coming to meet me for the first time, you don't know where I live, and I direct you, and I say, stop at this junction. When you stop at this junction, make sure you look for the white, blue sign. Then enter that street and stop here, stop there, you get to my house. Now, the expected end I'm expecting for you is that you get to my house. Your expected end is that you meet me, right? So now, he said to bring you to an expected end. Our own disposition to this is that we get to God's expected end. Do you understand that? So where is God taking me to? So in everything I've said, one thing you have to pick out is, first of all, seek the face of God concerning every plan you want to make. That's why I said, make your plans. I'm not saying don't make plans. Make your plans. Have expectations for your life. Things that will drive you. But in all these things, seek the face of God. Habakkuk, remember I quoted it before. He said, I will stand upon my watch to see what he will say. So meaning, he is waiting on God to actually get the plan. And when God spoke, he said, make it plain upon tables. So meaning, it is God's plan that he is making plain upon tables. And one joyful thing, one good thing about following up with God's plan is that you can hold God accountable. You can work with his timing. You will know that God does not lie. It means that if God says so time, he has planned it out. The reason why we become so discouraged, the reason why we become so nonchalant about life, we lose faith, we lose hope, is because we make our plans our own with our timing, and we say, God, make it happen. No, if it's going to be your plan, your own, then you will make it happen yourself. And you also know that making it happen yourself, we know that like we cannot do everything. We are humans, so we have limitations. But when it's God's plan for you, when it's God's expectation for you, God will make it happen. So at that time, you stop judging yourself with other people's standards. So meaning you stop saying, I'm supposed to be here. God, why am I not here? No. You will know that where you are is where God wants you to be when you are following God's plan. God's plan for you is good. If only you work with his timing. If only you work with his timing. And it's not like God cannot bring all those your plans that you've written down to actualization. But it's because they are not aligning to what he wants to work out in you. They're not aligning to the woman or the man he wants to make out of you. If you let it be the way you have planned it, eventually you will pass this edge with that meeting with God's will. That is high. So, and God's plan for you is that you get an what expected end. So, whatever it will cost for God to make you or bring you to that expected end is the process you've been passing through. Yes, it's a process you've been passing through that has been looking like hurdles. That's what has been looking like. Yes, it's a process you've been passing through. You see, in Isaiah, in Jeremiah, that's in Jeremiah. It seems Jeremiah did not really love the call of God. So God was really taking him through places, trying to explain what he wants to do with him and what he wants to do with Israel to him. Yes, because in another part, he took him to the potter's house. And he saw the potter. He was walking on the wheels. And he was making it. And suddenly, the potter broke it and started again. And God said, can I not do with you what this potter has done with this clay? So, when you submit yourself to the hands of God, your plan and everything, like the potter broke that. To you that you are not a potter, you would have said, this thing don't deform now. Like, this thing is already looking good. Let's just manage it like that. Should be his cup, his teacup. But no, the potter does not just want to make just a cup. I remember when my leaders used to say, we say for everything you want to do, especially when we want to hold programs, you will always be like, there's nothing like this is one of the programs or a program. We say this is D. Even if you've been holding that program for years, every year on is D. So what I'm trying to say that the potter does not just want to make a cup. He wants to make the cup. So meaning this one is unique. You that you are looking at it, you may look at it as just a cup. Let me use and drink water. But the potter will look at it and say, no, there is a shape. There is a way I want this to come out. And during the process is not coming that way, he will take it down and build it up. So that process of taking it down, bringing it up, we as humans, that is the hurdles we've been passing through. That is the process. That is what has been looking hard. And we've been like, God, are you even there for me? If you are submitted to God, that is the process. That is the process. That is it. And when I begin to wonder, does God make mistakes? Then what is God? If, for instance, I said, okay, God, do your will with me and the rest of that, Yet now it's now God that is making the cup and it's not full. Is it that God makes mistake? No. One, that clay, right, does not have a will. But now let's say that clay is a human being. There are other factors that can make us not to meet up with God's plan. And that factor, the major one, there may be many other, but the major one is you. Now you may be wondering how the factor is still you, because you said, God, do with me as thou will, right? Then you have to consider that you've had experiences, you've had encounters with people, you've had things that have built up that are still the scripture says renewal of the mind, that still needs to be pulled down. You still have some thoughts that are not aligning according to how God or what God is saying. So God will keep breaking and keep molding until you come to that place where you no longer have your will of your own. It will not be, Lord, your will be done. It will not like you bring you to that position when He has broken off all those walls, all those trauma, all those past, all those memories, whether they're not traumatic or traumatic, but all those mindsets that form over years, and all those stubbornness. Yes, because there sometimes even when you say, God, do with me, and God will give some instructions that are not pleasant to you, you're like, God, this one, I respect others, I will obey others, but this one, get us be. And you will struggle and struggle until you finally come to that place. So the whole essence of this podcast is that submit your will to God. Let your plans be infused with God's plan. And if truly you're totally surrendered to God, you've given it all to God, then you should come to understand that every process that God is taking you now is to get to the expected end. So stop timing your plans, stop timing your things based on yourself. Time it according to God's plan. So am I saying that when you make plans, don't put timeline like short-term goals and long-term goals? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that let all go back to God. And even before you write down the short terms, and confirm from God. And if you're confirmed from God but you've not heard and you put them down, when you hear, correct them. Stay with God. God's plan for you is far better than what you have for yourself. And the truth is that when God is done with you, you will look at yourself and you'll be like, gosh, where I'm coming from, is this me? Like, is this actually me? You will marvel at what God has been able to form out of you. Like, you see all those potteries that we see, you will marvel, like, did this actually come from clay? That is how it looks like. That is how it looks like. So merge your plans with God's plan. God's plan for you is the best. Can you imagine marrying God's plan for you? Oh my God. It's not that all those won't come, because this man is still a cleaning process. The truth is that the final day that God stops working with us is the day that we leave earth. So as far as you're on earth, we are still a cleaning process. But it means that God is always refining this man as a better one for you, or this woman as a better one for you. So it means there's no mistake when you stay with God. There's no mistake when you stay with God. Because when you change over time due to things that happen and what God is doing with you, God is the same one at work in your partner, also molding him to fit into the change that is happening in you, and vice versa. So, or is it your job, or is it anything concerning you? Honestly, learn to stay with God's plan. Learn to stay with God's plan. And when you stay with God's plan, you will learn to understand the timing of God. And with that, you will not compare yourself with no one. Honestly, those times you come where you'll be discouraged. I'm telling you, where you will be discouraged. You will say, I don't think this thing is working. You even listen to this podcast and you say, I don't think this is what Rhema is referring to. But I'm telling you, this is what I'm referring to. Stay with God. Stay with God. And you reap it. Honestly, you enjoy it. God's plan for you is the best for you. Thank you for staying with us on this episode. It has been a wonderful ride. And And I would love to hear what you have to say. I would like to hear your thought and everything that concerns this episode. I would love to hear from you. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to read the podcast. Bye. Till we see next.